Jai Sriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi, and I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally and internationally, and I welcome those in advance who's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world. Today you are welcomed in the name of Santana Lakshmi. Today is day 5. Is it day 5? The fifth form of Mother Lakshmi is called Santana Lakshmi. Today is day 5 in those that celebrate the 3 forms of the Mother. The first 3 days Mother Durga, the next 3 days Mother Lakshmi, and the last 3 days Mother Saraswathi, and today is also the 5th day to those who worship the Mother form as the 9 forms of Mother Durga. And as I've stated, respect all, worship your own. As Vaishnavites, we will be celebrating specifically the 8th form of Mother Lakshmi, but we will be respecting the other aspects of the Mother form in the other 2 groups, as I've explained. So Mother Lakshmi simplifies herself through these 8 manifestations, and in this manifestation she gives her grace, her shakti to those that cannot have children. And in this form she empowers women to become fertile. She empowers women to become fertile, and she appears in the 8-handed form, and in one of her hands is a child itself holding the lotus. So it is necessary to understand the different manifestations of Mother Lakshmi and the different boons that she would give you in a various forms. You cannot go to a butcher shop and expect to buy alcohol. Alright? Similarly, Mother Lakshmi manifests herself for the purpose of her beloved children to ease their lives whilst they are suffering on this, the material dimension. In every form that she exists, which she has taken specifically for our upliftment, she continues to plead with Lord Sriman Narayan to make our journey home as swift and painless as possible. The Guru's advice, working in conjunction with the request, continued request on your behalf to the Supreme Lord by Mother Lakshmi, is to detach your obsessions with the material world. When we say detach your obsessions, we do not mean detach yourself from the material world. That is impossible until you are liberated. Obsessions have a way of deluding you and giving you a false relationship with whatever you are obsessed with. So remove your obsessions, but continue the relationship. There's an echo on this mic, Dana. You know how to switch it off? Okay. Time and time again, I try to bring you with practical examples, simple, logical discoursing for you to understand your purpose on this earth, for you to understand the purpose of creation, and for you to understand the Supreme Lord in His various manifestations. And we've discussed variously on going back to basics. And it is in satsangs like this where we have to go back to basics and understand the ABC to spirituality. The foundation of your success, both materially and spiritually, revolves around the basics. So you need to find a guru after due diligence. You need to surrender to the guru after ensuring he is authentic, and you have to cultivate his teachings. Cultivate the Guru's teachings mean you have to grow. The spiritual tree need to be watered by coming to satsang regularly. The spiritual seed need to be watered by coming to satsang regularly. Let the seed burst into a little tree and nurture and cultivate that tree until the branches reach the feet of Lord Sriman Narayan in Vaikuntha. And then only, after the tree, the branches have reached the Supreme Lord, then you start climbing that tree. Many people want to climb the tree without germinating the seed. And this is the ebb of ebb and flow of people in this satsang. You need to germinate the tree, you need to water it with as many satsangs as possible. And then only can you be successful. You should treat every word of your Guru as gospel. Guru does not instruct you to do anything, any action, any work, any seva, if he does not have a valid reason behind it. Listen to the Guru with a clear understanding. If you do not understand anything, the Guru is available to you. Guru is always available to everyone. So I promised, when Vishwadhar was lonely, I promised him a cat. I promised him a cat, and I told him the cat is coming with a tigress. I did. When he only had the cat, he was looking for an animal tiger. Thought one day Guruji is going to send him to the zoo and get an animal tigress. And I'm sure all of you met his friendly tigress yesterday. You all met her? She was promised to Vishwadhar by the Guru. Okay? And what the Guru promises, the Guru delivers. Okay? And you have to be in that dimension of receiving. You have to be in the dimension of receiving. How you handle the tiger is your business. Is your business. This might scare Vishwadhar a bit after I just calmed him down earlier on. I like to play these games with his mind because he got a very active mind. If he listens to me and follows the ABC to spirituality, he will have a tigress in the form of Mother Lakshmi. And if he doesn't listen to me, the same tiger will be in the form of, or tigress, Mother Kali. He has these two forms of the same tigress. All you have to do is listen to the Guru. He has listened in the most, in this long relationship. He stuck around after I threw him over the cliff many times, Amita. Vishwadhar. He's been thrown down the cliff many times. He's stuck around. And that sticking around is the Lakshmi potency. Because Mother Lakshmi is caring, is compassionate, and as soon as she realizes that your intentions are placed in the direction of Lord Narayan, she becomes active within you, and she starts. Remember, driver is Lord Sriman Narayan. The computation is your past karmas, and the negotiator is Mother Lakshmi. So when you are being driven through your destiny, and when you have that molecule or atom of love for the Supreme, she turns that atom of love into a universe full of atoms of love. This is how much Mother Lakshmi works behind the scenes for each and every living entity, both animate and inanimate. And in this form of Santana Lakshmi, her grace envelops all in this universe. And if you go slightly deeper, then she herself is personified as the womb of this universe. So, I cannot encourage you any more than I've already done in the past. I cannot give you any more information than that I have already given you to guide you to some happiness in this material world. And I was explaining to Vishwadhar and his tigress right here. I'm just playing with his mind. Okay? When I say tigress, what do you think Vishwadhar will do? He'll cringe in fear. He'll be cringing in fear, alright? So whilst Elena and Vishwadhar were spending some time with the Guru, I advised both of them not to look for perfection or absolute happiness in their relationship, because it doesn't exist in the material world. Material world is for relative happiness and relative peace. Spiritual world is for absolute happiness and absolute peace. There's a purpose for the creation of this material world. Mother Durga is the superintendent of this material world, and her job is to keep you imprisoned. Conditions in the prison will vary. That is why some prisoners will just have the basics all their life in prison because they have no contacts. And those that have contacts will have some Kentucky and Nando's now and again. And those that are have more contacts and privileged, they'll have more facilities and more food. But you cannot remove the imprisonment. It's just a better condition whilst still being imprisoned. You understand? So it does not matter whether you have brown bread and black tea or whether you have chops. You are still in prison. So in this material world, the conditions do not allow for perfection, and it does not allow for absolute bliss and absolute happiness. If you are here in this ashram for that, then you are wasting your time. Not only this ashram, in no ashram in the material universe you can get perfection and absolute happiness and absolute bliss. No ashram in the material universe. Nikhil? No ashram in the material universe. So if you look in for absolute happiness in anything, in a friend, in your parents, in your children, in your employers, in your employees, you'll never find it. You will never find it. That is, found absolute happiness in Jessica?
Intelligent answer, not yet.
Okay, Nikhil. Your whole life that you lived, satisfied, still looking for that happiness. Nikhil bhai, he is slightly related to you. Not slightly, he is related to you, right? In the future. Alright, so there is no happiness. Real happiness is after you leave this body. And this is the purpose of the Sri Narayan Dham, to tell you that we understand your frustration and also to inform you that don't waste your time looking for absolute happiness. It does not exist here. We think giving you this information can help you satisfy. Yes, you can start doing other things with that time. You can start utilizing that time that you are chasing for happiness or absolute happiness, which does not exist here. Use that time for other things that exist here. So what exists here that you can practically use that time for? Dana? Well, you can use that time to apply for your boarding pass. Use the time to apply for a boarding pass. All Vaishnavite ashrams around the world give you a boarding pass, so that you can leave this dimension after you leave this body and go to that dimension where everything is absolute. Your happiness is absolute, your bliss is absolute, and you are absolute. Nilesh, you think I'll have millions of devotees? This is bad and sad news, Nikhil. This is bad and sad news. It's like doomsday. It's like doomsday. You thought coming to ashram you'll become very happy. Pramila, you come in here for bad news. Bad news. But the good news is that Mother Lakshmi manifests in 8 forms. And through that 8 forms, it does not matter how many million and trillion years go by, she starts extricating you one by one and on your behalf, she starts negotiations with Lord Sriman Narayan for you to make sure that this is your last attempt for finding happiness in the material world. Well, I always explain these realities practically. Like Maulana yesterday discussed exactly what I am discussing today. He said if you want one car and you think you'll get happy with that one car, when you want that one car you want another car. He said you're always chasing after the future. He said you always believe you will find happiness somewhere in the future, and you're always planning for future things, Nikhil. You're always planning for future. But your future is an illusion. The reason it's an illusion, it's a creation of the mind. Only the present is tangible. Nikhil, if you give yourself a heart smack now, or if I ask Satish Bhai to give you that heart smack now, are you going to feel it or not? Why? Sorry, take your mask out. Satish Bhai does not have COVID. It's in the... Yeah, but if I tell Satish Bhai, give you a smack next week, will you feel anything? Will you feel anything? Sorry? Okay, otherwise you can come to me, I'll smack you now. Alright? And I'll ask you to await that smack next week. Which will be real? The present. So where you must find your happiness? In your present. You can't find happiness in a perception. You must find happiness in reality. Though it might not be absolute happiness, you can experience a semblance of that happiness now. Is that realistic? Is 1 + 1 making 2 equaling to 2? Yeah. Otherwise you'll always be in a quandary. Your whole life will be spent in a quandary because you are perceiving something that's not there through your mind. And perceptions bring you depression. Perceptions bring you depression because your mind cannot materialize the truth in the future. Yes or no? So I want to conclude by thanking all of you for the hard work that you put in, and even those that are not in satsang today, I don't think they have the energy to come to satsang. I myself only got up at 6 p.m. Alright? But I was disturbed by the Vishwadars. I was disturbed by the Vishwadars, and you know the Guru gives off energy whenever he is in the presence of disciples. And how much of Guru's energy you think Vishwadar takes? Being a conjust, you think he leaves 1 atom of energy in his Guru when he comes to Durban. The world's greatest, #1 conjust, Vishwadar, Satish Bhai, He took everything that I have. Not leaving anything for the satsang too. Alright? So, we are all tired. All of us are tired. And I want to thank each one of you for making yet another success and another trend-setting satsang, and it happened on the 4th day of Mother Lakshmi. These types of events have to be empowered. Very difficult to have an event of this magnitude with so many dimensions just on our own individual capacity. And you saw the flow of the power of Mother Lakshmi yesterday. I have not experienced in my 59 years the amount of love and compassion, the amount of love and compassion that was in that 20 meter by 6 meter tent yesterday. I think its volume was equivalent to this universe. Tana, does not make sense making noise whilst the Guru is speaking, alright? So I think it's better to do that outside. Yeah, just let me finish quickly. You don't have a lot of people, so whilst we start Aarti, you can start. We want to conclude and we want to summarize yesterday. Carry on. We want to summarize yesterday because it is relevant that yesterday we had the first multiracial, multi-interfaith, multicultural event in its totality here at the Sri Narayan Dham, which gave birth to this interfaith, interreligious, inter-societal structures from the various political parties, philosophies and mindsets. The Sri Narayan Dham gave birth to the very concept, practically the child of oneness was born yesterday. And you all are all the parents. All of you is the parent of this child. We need to nurture this child of oneness, and we need to hand this child to the world. Because if you want to quantify happiness, then I think it would be yesterday. If you ever tasted happiness in your life, I think it was yesterday. This happiness had no reason. This happiness had no reason. This happiness was not ordered. This happiness was not sought. When you bring and unify the difference in humanity, the differences dissolve and humanity takes birth. And yesterday, in this ashram, the birth of humanity was witnessed. And that was the unknown elevated feeling that we all felt, that something happened but we cannot put our finger on it. You understand? We have to nurture this child. You all are all the parents of this child, and we have to gift this child of oneness to the entire world. This gifting of this child of oneness to the world will be a long and a hard process, because the opposite of oneness, satisfy, is what? Divisive. If there's happiness and bliss in oneness, then what is there in divisiveness? Unhappiness and hatred. Unhappiness and hatred. You saw how we converted that unhappiness, that energy, from being different, and when we computed it to being one, what happened to the same energy? What happened to the same energy? It converted itself from negative to positive. Imagine a world experiencing that feeling that we experienced in the tent yesterday. Imagine all the different religions, different political ideologies, different societal people, different races eating from one pot. All of you understand? And that is the work of this ashram. Can you see the size of the work of the ashram? And can you see the size, Nikhil, of your own needs? Which is bigger? Nikhil, I can't hear you. Ashram, alright? And when you embrace the big need, what happens to the small need? It becomes minuscule and obliterated. You understand? So, yesterday was a historic day. It was through the power of Mother Lakshmi herself. It happened in